Hey guys, thank you for checking out Master VS Code. I just want to give you a quick introduction to the course and tell you about the course structure. Now, the course is divided in two sections. In the first section, I assume you have no knowledge whatsoever about VS Code, so we will go through everything that VS Code can do for you. The interface, the shortcuts, the theming, files, debugging, source control extensions, all that good stuff. There's actually quite a bit that VS can do out of the box that most people don't know about and therefore don't use. A good example is using a jsconfig.json file in the root of your repository if you're programming in JavaScript, and VS Code will automatically assume that is a JavaScript repository and it will scan all the files in the repository, all the JavaScript files in the repository for errors, which is pretty awesome, particularly if you pair that with linting. But either way, the first section assumes no previous knowledge about VS Code, and we will talk about everything that VS Code can do. However, the later sections of sorry the I guess the later topics of the first section are still useful for even for people who have quite a bit of experience with VS Code because we talk about a lot of interesting details that you may not know about. The second section in the second section, I assume you are already familiar with VS Code, and it's not about learning VS Code itself. It's more about configuring VS Code to improve your developer experience as much as possible. So in the second section, we will talk about some custom shortcuts that will improve your workflow a little bit, but we will also talk about theming and what changes can we make. We will talk about editing code and how to automate a lot of tasks that are repetitive and that you would otherwise have to do manually. But we will also talk about how to integrate a lot of workflows into VS Code. So things that you usually do outside, we will bring them inside. Well, I will teach you how to bring them inside of VS Code if that's more useful for you, which it might be. Sometimes it depends on the circumstance. Sometimes it might not be, because if you're using like two screens, for example, you might just want to have VS Code in front of you and the browser on another screen. But in case you just have like a big screen and you just want everything inside VS Code, that is actually possible. You can have the browser inside VS Code, for example. But there's a lot more integrations and a lot of automations that can be configured in VS Code, and that's what the second section is all about. All right, that's it for now. I hope you enjoy the course. See you on the next one.